when I was delivering pizzas back then, I loved the fact that, I could hop on a moped, I'd have my audiobooks in my ear, and I'd be delivering the pizza. So it's like I'm educating myself, and I was getting paid for delivering the pizzas at the same time. Obviously, it wasn't like a dream job. Obviously, it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life. But that gave me the opportunity to understand. I dropped out of university. I didn't have any qualifications. The guy that hired me needed someone with a moped license. I invested £200 of my last money into getting a moped license. Then I got the job, and I made so much money from the job. Ended up investing that money into my business, into starting selling on Amazon. Then the business grew. Then we had our first 10K month. And, to me, like making money online from someone who's dropped out of university, it felt weird. It felt different. But it made me realize, like, if you invest into yourself, anything that you can conjure up in your mind, you can literally make a reality as long as you don't quit.
Let's Talk DXB. Real conversations by real people. Jason, thank you so much for joining Let's Talk DXB.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Now, we've got limited time because your journey and your story, I could talk to you for like hours. Like, obviously, the team were like, can we start now? So I'm like, okay, there's a lot to unpack. But let's start a bit more about learning about you, your journey, your childhood.
Certainly. Well, thank you very much for having me on the podcast today. It's a pleasure to be here. I feel like sometimes I look at my life now and I'm like, how did I get here? The other day I was featured actually in the newspaper. I went to the store running to the newspaper to see my face in the newspaper. It was like, this is incredible. Yeah. And they have the tagline of, pizza boy becomes a Amazon king, Amazon shop king in Dubai. And it's almost like a pinch me moment, right? Because it's not something I would have ever imagined. And I remember when I was at university and I decided to drop out, like for me, it was kind of like, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to figure this thing out, but I didn't really know where to start.
Right.
And I always say, like, my partner, she believed in me. She had like that faith, she had that hope, and she gave me that, acceptance, almost like it's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to dream big. It's okay to think differently. And I just went for it, and now we're here building a business, 1 million in 12 months. It's very surreal. It's very surreal.
Okay, we're going to deep dive a bit more because obviously I've done my research. So when I was reading, and I saw the Gulf News piece, and I was like, "What? This is really impressive." But let's go even back to like before you came to Dubai. So you had the hunger for entrepreneurship. Did you see that growing up? Because I'm a mother, and I know how much like children absorb. So sometimes you kind of adapt the environment you've been brought up in, or you try and change that for good. If there's some things you need to remove, but did you see that at home? Like, what was that dynamic like?
Well, I actually, I was born in Holland, but my dad used to do business in Ghana. So he used to be in Ghana a lot, but I didn't even realize what type of work he was doing. But then later on, as we went to school, we went to this private school, which was like really nice. But the guy who owned the school, he'd always come with the nicest cars, right?
Right.
And as a kid, I think like I was 8 to 12 and I'm seeing these cars and I'm obsessed. Like, I'm like, yo, how can one guy have so many cars? Like, it made no sense to me.
Wow.
But I think that planted a seed to me, like, in order for me to have like some of these nicest things, I might have to start a business. I might have to do something different. But this was like a thought that went all the way to the back of my mind.
Wow.
But when we then came back to the Netherlands, I grew up in like a low income area in the Netherlands. I think coming to Dubai, for me, it felt different. It felt refreshing. When I see someone successful here, I feel like, they've put in the work in their business. They've put in the work in their career. If they can do it, I can do it too. Yeah. And that's literally like the mantra that's kept us going.
I love that. And I think, do you know what? Like, we'll go into Dubai because everyone has this like Dubai hustle mentality. I coin it the Dubai hustle. So even if you're working in a corporate world, people are still trying to build something beyond that, or they're just like multifaceted and they know their talents go beyond just one thing and they balance and they really explore. But I think Dubai, I mean, I've been here 13 years, so I know like it's very entrepreneurial. The rulers themselves, like they're thinking 30 years ahead. They're not even thinking now, right?
Literally.
So I think you would have seen that when you came as well.
Yeah.
So it's a great place to kind of thrive off that, work hard, the ethical side of it as well, be ethical and build your business because it's possible. So
100%.
Yeah, I get that for sure. So let's go into building your business in Dubai then.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're working in e-commerce and I'll let you articulate a bit more about that. But how has Dubai elevated your business?
So for me, being in the e-commerce space obviously is very global. Like
Yeah.
you can do that everywhere. But being in Dubai, I remember when we first came to Dubai. I didn't want to come to Dubai because I thought Dubai, you have to be rich, you have to be a millionaire, billionaire in order to come and live
Got
here.
it, yeah.
So that was like my whole mindset around
Right.
Dubai. But my missus, she likes like nice stuff. So when we were leaving the UK, I thought, okay, I'm gonna trick her. I'm gonna say we're gonna go to Dubai first. But
Okay.
meanwhile, I want to go to Bali, Thailand, Malaysia, all those
So
countries.
more
there.
like mellow, chilled
More
places.
mellow, chill.
Yeah.
But when we came to Dubai, now I'm going to the beach with my daughter, and she's having so much fun. The sun is shining. We went to the Museum of the Future, and I'm seeing the future. Like, I really love, like if someone casts a vision, and you walk towards that vision and you move towards that vision. Like, I really love that whole concept to create something, just out of a dream. I really love that. And when I even break it down a little bit, when I was in the UK, I felt like a calling. Like God was like, like Moses, get out of the UK, lead my people to the better land, cast that vision, make things happen. And I feel like that's been like the passion and the drive. But for our business, I think it was almost like out of necessity that spawned. Like when we came to Dubai, we didn't really know, okay, we're going to start an agency where we're going to help brands grow and scale on Amazon.
Okay.
But as we left the UK, the opportunity kind of just landed on our lap. And it was like, okay, we have one client now. How can we get to 2 clients? And how can we get to 3 clients? And then before you know it, it's like snowballing.
Wow.
And the business is growing.
So you've talked a lot about in terms, and I've watched some of your content as well, in terms of faith around this. And obviously it resonates with me as well. I'm a Christian, believe in God as well.
Yeah.
How important has that been in terms of you even just being a bit fearless around things like bringing your family to a new place, a new land, building, and obviously it's partnership, and we'll talk about you and your wife because I think you've got the right partnership to grow and build.
Certainly.
But how has your faith helped you as well?
Yeah. Faith is definitely the foundation of it all. I feel like if you remove the faith, everything else is going to crumble. Everything's going to fall down. Because I remember one quote I always had to tell myself is like, you need faith the size of a mustard seed, and you can say to the mountain, move, and the mountain will move. And in my mind, I knew the quote, but then I remember I picked up this packet once and it said mustard seed on it. And I'm looking at how small
tiny. Right. Yeah, there's days where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, literally. Like, all you need is like that small, like size of faith. And it makes sense though, because human beings naturally, like, we're very fearful, right? But fear is our natural instinct. It's our body trying to keep us safe. You're in your comfort zone. You already know everything that's going on in that side of things. But to go into the unknown, to lean into the faith, to lean into, the words that God has said, to lean into that vision of, what is possible, like that is scary. Your fear is going to hold you back a lot.
Yes.
But if you just have a little bit of faith when that doubt comes, devil's in your ear whispering, don't do it, man. You're safe here. You're making enough money here. But here, like, bro, I could be making millions. I could be traveling. I could be making a better life for my family, my kids, like generations,
Generational wealth,
Exactly.
Yep.
So just leaning into that, like, even if you don't see it, just that little piece of faith.
Well, you were doing it. I mean, you're living proof. And I'm sure there's tough times. I mean, you hear this, but I'm sure there were days where you're like, oh, yeah, this is close, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, or provide as well, because that's a scary thing. So how did you navigate those challenges, and what did they look like as well?
Yeah, so when we came to Dubai, obviously we had the faith of, this is what we want, this is the vision, this is what we're trying to accomplish. My daughter has autism, she wasn't speaking, so it's even part of the reason why we moved from the UK. And I think one thing that was good for me is like, the pain of where I was so much that I didn't want to stay in it. It's like the fire is just literally burning you on this side. And this is the only side where you feel like, okay, maybe there's a possibility of at least finding some water, And just going on that journey, my wife, we decided to have another child. We wanted to have a son, and luckily we had our baby.
Wow, that was lucky.
I was very lucky. But even with the pregnancy, like, it's a bit rocky. Like, we try and then nothing would happen, and just faith. Like, there's a certain part of me that always knows, like, I feel like I know what my life is going to look like at the end of it. I just don't know how I'm going to get there. Yeah. And I feel that's the exciting part. Certain times when we were building the business and, we're working, we're making money, but invoices are delayed, clients are not paying us, we have to pay rent. You know, we have to go to hospital appointments, all of that. And, you know, we're thinking, we were making a lot more money in the UK. You know, we have safety in the UK. We have family in the UK.
Yep.
Everything is comfortable down there. But I just knew, like, we just have to stick to it long enough. We have to commit to the vision long enough. And through that commitment, like, all of these things are happening. And even to me now, like, it's still a surprise, you know. I expected it, but it's a pleasant surprise.
And I think I always believe that God will give you the vision, how you are going to navigate and get there. And there'll be times where I'm sure you gave me this vision, but it's not even coming together. But the resilience and consistency around it, it 100%. Materializes into fruit. So that's a blessing as well. So you've talked a lot about your partner, your wife, and I would say the biggest investment you'll make is who you marry. I'm a big believer of that. And I think in general, who you surround yourself with. And I'd like to talk about from your transition of being in London, working in certain industry, like how you've had to transition your friendship circle, probably your mindset, like all of those things. But let's start with your wife, because I feel like you've got a solid foundation, thank God. And I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So how has that helped you in terms of you know, fulfilling and growing as a man, actually? Yeah,
100%. So actually, when I was driving with my wife today, we were talking about, you know, marriage when we first started, or even relationship. It was all nice, rosy, and, you know, none of the challenges have come yet. And people always used to tell us, oh, you guys are just in the honeymoon phase. I said, no, this is easy. We've got this.
This is life.
This is life. We were so naive. But then, like, our daughter came, and that was during COVID time. And I feel like during those moments, my wife and I didn't have that connection that we used to have, because now we have another person in the relationship that also has needs and, you know, things that need to be taken care of. So that was very challenging. But one thing I love about my wife is, about women in general, is, you know, they're very emotive, like they feel these emotions, very spiritual. My wife, she is exactly what I need in my life, you know. She's soft, she's hard, she's loving, she's determined. Honestly, she is the yin to my yang, you know. She's the butter to my bread, you know. That's the love of my life, really.
Wow. It's a beauty when you can find that and also build together, because obviously you're doing this business together. You know, some people, they do marriage very well, but in terms of building purpose and vision and wealth, it can be very difficult, because conversations with money, you know, just balancing time, making sure it's not all business, but you also have that loving side to each other. So to find that balance, and I'm sure it's not always perfect, but to have it and be able to show something is a blessing. And let's talk about fatherhood, because I know for men, when we talk about success, usually it's around money and I've built this and the business, but success can look different, right? When you become a father, when you're a husband. So how has that fatherhood side shaped you as well?
Fatherhood, I think it's a beautiful concept. When I first became a father, it was so foreign to me. I literally have the picture of, like, holding my daughter. Like, am I holding her right?
Listen, even as a mother, I was like, well, I have to keep this person alive. It's a lot.
Literally. And in the night, they're crying and you're tired, and it takes a lot. But one thing I realized when I took a little break, just me time for a while. And I remember that moment, everything was just so quiet. No one expected nothing from me. But I didn't like it. I feel like the responsibility of being a father, the responsibility of being a husband, you know, to create something for my children, to come home and have the kids running at you. Like, I literally came down the stairs and my son is just, he's just running towards you straight away. And my daughter as well. She's really cute. But I think fatherhood is one of the most beautiful things ever. And I seen this little prompt online where they asked people, if you wanted to break a generation, you know, what would you do? And people ask ChatGPT that question. And ChatGPT, when I asked it, what would you do for black people to break that thing? They said, just talk about black women negative, talk about black men negative, you know, take away the narrative of having family and all of those foundational pillars, because having a father at home is really important. It's a really important principle. And even with my wife, like, obviously when we have disagreements, we're talking about, do we have disagreements in front of the children? Do they need to see that? Do they not need to see that? But I'm like, you know, let's have healthy disagreements. So they know, you know, it's not always going to be perfect, but this is how you do it in a healthy way. This is how you discuss things in a healthy way.
That's so important. And the intentionality as well, because I'm a big believer your children see. I mean, the first things that they learn is from their parents, right? Or whoever's taking care of them. So I think you have to be intentional in terms of what you want them to hear, see, how you resolve conflict. So they normalize that as they grow as well.
100%.
But to your point about, I think, predominantly Black households. I think we're the least likely to stay in marriages or be married. But then that affects generational wealth, that affects purpose, there's so many nuances behind it. So to see healthy marriages thriving, I think we need to see more of it. That's why I wanted to touch on that alongside the business, because I think it's all part of it, right?
100%.
You have the right partner, you build together, you grow your legacy. So that's beautiful to see.
100%.
Yeah. I want to go back. I want to go back to London days. I know we've jumped into Dubai because we're here and it's good and we're enjoying Dubai. But talk me through that journey of your time in London, because I know obviously the headlines in your story is you were delivering pizzas for an amount of time before you probably had enough. It was I don't want this for myself. So what was that pivotal moment where you're like, no, my life can't be like this anymore. It has to change.
Yeah. So honestly, every single aspect of my life I've really loved and I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Even the challenging times. You're built differently.
I think, especially the challenging times.
Right. Why is that?
I always tell my partner, imagine we're so low right now. Imagine how sick the story is going to be when we're out of it. You know, it's like a movie, man. It's like the characters down, beat to the floor, bloody, and the count is like a 9, and then at 9 they get up. If they got up at 1, it's like he's still fresh, right?
Yeah,
he's still in the game. But if you're at 9 and you're like, and then you're up,
wow,
and you're fighting, and then you end up winning the fight. I love that. I love that type of story.
Okay, you're built for this then. Okay, got it. Yeah,
that's the type of story I want for my life.
Yeah, it's good.
And when I was delivering pizzas back then, I loved the fact that I could hop on a moped. I'd have my audiobooks in my ear, and I'd be delivering the pizza. So it's like I'm educating myself.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was getting paid for delivering the pizzas at the same time. Obviously it wasn't like a dream job. Obviously it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life, but that gave me the opportunity to understand. I dropped out of university. I didn't have any qualifications.
Okay.
The guy that hired me
needed
someone with a moped license. I invested £200 of my last money into getting a moped license. Then I got the job and I made so much money from the job, ended up investing that money into my business, into starting selling on Amazon. Then the business grew. Then we had our first 10K month. And, to me, making money online from someone who's dropped out of university, it felt weird. It felt different.
Yeah.
But it made me realize, if you invest into yourself, anything that you can conjure up in your mind, you can literally make a reality as long as you don't quit.
And can we talk about this? Because obviously, I think how people use their time, because you could easily be listening to music on your moped or, or not anything, life is stressful. I just want peace of mind. I'm going to deliver my pizzas. Yeah. But for you to be intentional to say, I'm going to upskill and learn in this job for my next. Yeah. Where did you learn that from? Or was it literally I know I need to change something?
I think one of the lowest moments in my life actually taught me about the value of self-education.
What was that then, if you want to share?
So when I was around 18, 19, I was just following my friends and just doing everything that my friends do. And I remember I got into this argument with one guy. He, was like a gang leader.
Oh, right.
And through that, he wanted to stab me. So, it was very emotional for me back then. And
at 18?
Yeah. And I was just in my room, just sobbing and thinking my whole life could have literally ended just in this one moment. And I felt like I would have wasted my whole potential. My mom, my dad, all the investments, everything they did for me, just all gone. So when I was in my room, something my dad used to say to me just came back to me. It was why don't you guys just read? Why don't you read more? Just educate yourself.
And typical, a Ghanaian parents, just
literally,
read.
Just
if
read.
You don't want to do anything, read.
literally. He used to go bang on about it. I was like, this guy, man.
This is me and my son, actually. I'm like, book.
100%. But in that moment, I just went online and I found Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And I read it, and he was saying concepts like, why do people do things illegally when it's so easy to make money legally? When you're working, don't just work to earn. Make sure you're working to learn, upskill yourself. And there were so many concepts in there that was so unique to me. And I was like, in that moment, I knew my life was going to change,
Yeah.
but I just had no idea what was going to happen. Yeah.
And that was it.
And that was it.
So you're very big on self-investment, I can tell.
Yeah.
So what's like for someone that is trying to break out of their current situation, like it seems impossible. They don't know how to go about it. They want better for themselves, for their family, or just, their careers. What advice would you give them in terms of like investment, or what types of investment you've made? Like obviously mentor, and you're educating yourself around it, but what else could you advise someone around that?
Yeah. I think right now we have access to the internet, which is like, one of the biggest things, you can literally go online, learn anything.
Yeah.
And those experiences do shape you a lot. But I think the step that most people then get stuck at is, they get in the loop of like learning, and
not applying.
Yeah,
that's the fear bit though, I think, like the reality of doing it.
100%. I mean, the reality of doing it is like, scary when you're investing money and you're not sure if you're going to get a return on it.
Yeah.
That's scary. But I was speaking about this concept recently, and I went to this Tony Robbins event, which
you mentioned when we spoke. Tell me about that actually. Yeah.
So this event, it was one that we booked, me and my missus. We booked pre-COVID. I think even before we had our daughter.
Okay.
But we were only able to go to it, I think, in 2023. So 3 years,
Oh wow.
that event was postponed. But we'd already paid for it.
You paid for it, so yeah.
Yeah. And my missus was thinking about cancelling it. I told her, I can't be with someone who cancels, a Tony Robbins event.
If you want to be married, deal breaker. No pressure.
Looking back now, that's insane to say, but I'm glad she went, and she's also glad she went.
Yeah, of course.
Everything we did, like, was literally that. I think it was around £700 we paid each for that event.
Each for the ticket,
Yeah, for the ticket. And I think it's like one of the cheapest tickets, but just the value that we got from that event, it was just immense. And one of the things he encouraged us to do is like really face the reality. Like sometimes we really hate something, but we'll be like, oh, it's okay, it's not that bad, and we'll justify it. But I wrote down all the things I hated. I wrote down what my future could be like, the things I love, the things I do desire, the things that are really my passion and what I do need to be working on. And he made us do this visualization of you go like 10, 20, 30, 50 years into your life, and all the things that you hate are just like getting so much bigger. And like I visualized my wife leaving me for some other guy because he's chasing his dreams and he's doing everything he needs to do, and my daughter doesn't want to be with me because I'm just one fat slob just sitting at home eating pizzas,
not motivated,
not motivated. And for me, like that reality of what my life could be like versus the reality of even now just being here on this podcast or having a company to £1 million, seeing my face in the newspaper, like for my daughter to be able to see that, my son to be able to see that, my wife to be, my mom, dad, like they're all like like shocked. And that is the reality I wanted to go for. I didn't want to go for the other side of the reality.
But what are the sacrifices with this reality? I think what I like about Let's Talk is because I get very accomplished people on to speak, and I'm learning, I'm absorbing as you're speaking. But equally, I think what they appreciate is you're giving us a platform to be quite real, because you see the Gulf News article and you're like, oh right, yeah, he's done it 1 year, that was easy for him, like great for him. For me it might not be possible. But tell us like the realness of like to build and to grow and actually scale a business, not just a hustle anymore, making it into a viable business that's like looking after you and your family, hopefully building legacy. What were the sacrifices you had to make to do that?
When it comes to sacrifices, I feel like there's so many sacrifices. Friendships, for example. Like,
oh yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah,
I don't have a lot of friends. I actually don't have a lot of friends, and I feel like it's even to the point where if someone reaches out to me, I'm always like, what do they want?
Skeptical,
like they always want something from me.
Right.
And sometimes it does feel very lonely. It really does feel very lonely. But I have my family, I find comfort in my family. I find comfort in my children. I find comfort in my wife. I feel like God's really blessed me with her. But sacrifices, leaving my family home, going to Dubai, dropping out of university. A lot of people, even friends back then are calling me crazy. Like, why are you doing this, bro? Like, just stick to it. You can have a good job. And, I feel like most of my life I felt misunderstood because of that.
Interesting.
And to be looked at as, you know, that weird guy, you know.
Didn't finish university. And it's a big thing in our culture, right?
Yeah.
If you say you didn't go to university, it's like, what were you doing? So I know all of the layers that come with it as well, but you knew what you were designed to do.
Yeah, 100%. I knew, but it was hard to let people know this is what I want. And especially if you don't know how to get there, you know, they're going to be like, oh, so you think you're going to do this? And they'll laugh at you, you know. And I feel like apart from our partner, I can't really say that anyone really ever believed in the vision.
Wow. Then God has blessed you with the right wife, because it takes a special person to be able to build and bring that out of you as well.
100%.
So the friendship side, because we have to touch on it, because I can tell, like, obviously you were on your pizza bike trying to learn. You're spending £700 on a ticket to go and see Tony Robbins. Like you were ready to kind of adapt your mindset. And sometimes not all your friends come on that journey. So what did that actually look like in terms of you having to let people go? Or was it a natural, like, I don't have anything to talk to you about, or I'm so into my business and you're not interested, it just kind of dies off? What has that looked like for you?
I think it was, one, I like to travel quite a lot. I like to move quite a lot. I don't like being in the same place.
So you don't like being restricted.
I
could. Hence why that's schooling system.
I think you put it perfectly. I don't like being restricted.
I can tell.
Even my partner tells me don't do this, I have this itch to go do it. But if she didn't say it, I wouldn't actually care about it. So that is very true. I think with the friendships, the way that things fell apart or things went separate, I think it was slow, but I knew that it was going to happen. It was almost intentional. Just texting them less and, you know, not seeing them as much. But because if I wasn't even seeing them, it's like, I'm busy. I want to be in the gym. You know, I want to spend some time with my kids. I want to be working on the business. These are all like intentional choices. But I think one thing I've realized now is, now if I'm building, I want to be building with people that I generally do love, you know, that, you know, our friends, our family, that we could all be on this journey together and all celebrating together. Because that is also very beautiful. And, you know, that's something like, when I see people, you know, like a friendship group and they've been together for so many years, I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. But at the same time, I think it's like a two-sided coin, because I don't want to have the same friendship group and we're not moving forward.
And not grow.
I need that friend that is going to tell me, bro, you did this, you didn't do it right, or, you know, you need to improve it this way and that way. Like someone who challenges me constantly. I have that in my wife, but I want that like bigger and better now.
It's so important. I think also, as you're trying to build as well, you need those honest opinions, but for your good. You know, sometimes I'm trying to do too many things and I have someone say, hey, just focus on this thing for now, because you can't do it all as one person. But I know it's from a good, healthy space for me to just like home in and just sit and build this one particular area. So 100%. It's important. I mean, the friendship thing, I've done a topic on this in terms of friendship in Dubai as well, because it can be quite superficial here and transactional, and people are like in and out, etc. So building solid friendships for vision and purpose. I think a lot of people do struggle here as well, because it's more of a social type of dynamic, and then you don't know who to trust and all these other these nuances. But I think I always say, having the wisdom to know that that's an acquaintance. That's not a friend, you know? And I think it's a healthy thing to do. Or, you know, that's someone that I go to coffee with and maybe I'm more than happy to share knowledge, or, you know, they want some advice from me. And that's where it is. Or this is a business friend and we brainstorm and we fire each other up and, you know, we're excited about what we're growing together. So I think it's having the different buckets and being okay with that. It doesn't have to look like, because you're my friend since I was 5, that you have to stay in the same type of friendship dynamic. That's wisdom though. That is wisdom.
I really like that. I feel like I'm gonna have to listen back to that. There's a lot of gems in what you just
because
said.
you can have different friends. You know, you can have social friends. Like if you're a person that likes to go to conferences and you have a person that also likes to go to these same conferences and you just meet there and it's good and then you recap and you go home. Or, you know, someone that likes going to the cinema and that's the type of friend. So it doesn't always need to look the same, you know. That's what I've learned across the years.
No, 100%.
It's important.
100%,
But I want to know more about like how you're finding Dubai, what's next for you, what are you trying to build and grow. Obviously the Let's Talk community, just so they can learn a bit more about you and collaboration, anything you're trying to get out of your journey here.
I mean, Dubai, I love it. I love the weather. Obviously now it's a bit hotter.
Still love it. I prefer it to the rain.
100%. what is next in Dubai? My missus, she is looking to get into property.
Oh, good.
So,
It's booming here. Yeah, good.
So like she's been obsessed with that, and we're looking to make that happen.
Good.
For me, Intermast is almost like my life dream and my life goal. I think I will run it as long as I can, and then I would love to pass it on to my son. I don't know if he wants to take it on.
We pray, isn't it?
He's only one now.
Yeah, I know you're like, you're going to do that.
I feel like he's got the mind and the energy for it. Right? He's only one, so you never know. I'm a groom him.
Good.
I think for me personally, my life goal, I want to get into politics. I want to do something major in Africa.
I love, I love that.
Yeah.
Have you always been into politics, or it's just something like why politics, I guess?
For me, the formula of me being a boy from Croydon when I first moved to Croydon.
Oh, you're from Croydon as well. Okay.
Croydon.
I didn't even ask you that. Yeah, okay. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so a boy from Croydon, and like being able to change my life, being in Dubai and being in the newspapers in Dubai, I feel like, it's good. But the ultimate factor and measure of success for me is like how many people can we replicate this for, like how many people from Croydon can we, have the same success story or similar success story for. And when I say bring this to Africa, I feel like lots of continents in this world are really doing their thing, but I know knowledge was like the key factor for me to really invest into myself. So the people in Africa, just, having access to that knowledge, having access to opportunities. The internet has connected all of us globally, right? So as long as, people invest into their talents, their energy, they invest into themselves, I feel like they now have this similar opportunities to someone who might be in the UK, but you just have to have that drive, you have to have that vision, you need to know, like, I got this amazing skill set, I'm gonna list it online, I'm gonna be on LinkedIn, I'm gonna be talking about what I do, and get clients that way, because there's lots of money to be made on the internet.
Yeah, there is actually, and I think people now are trying to do a lot more in terms of profiling themselves and building, we all hear a lot about personal brand, but I think it's actually just showcasing your talents so a wider audience can see that, especially if you're trying to do something for yourself. So to be able to take that home, that's powerful, and it's needed. I think that's exciting.
100%.
Well, I'm excited for you. I know, I can tell from your hunger and your drive and your energy, you're just going to fly in Dubai, and it's only been a short time, so keep that momentum going as well. You're doing great things.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
It's been an absolute pleasure being here. Thank you so much for having me.
Let's talk DXB. Real conversations by real people.